Nation's largest cities have suffered a 30% increase in homicides in 2020. Let me read that again. Nation's largest cities, all run by Democrats, have suffered a 30% increase in homicides in 2020. Holy shit! That's a lot. That's almost a third. A third. And some were worse than that. This is a combinative average number. Some of these cities suffered a more than 30% increase. Wow. Oh my God, that's insane. Very soon we're going to be back in 1970s New York, man. Like in Death Wish. Remember those movies with Charles Bronson? Those were good movies, by the way. At least the first three. The third was kind of, campy and silly. He's got this machine gun and that second floor apartment blowing away bad guys. Members of that retarded gang. Some of the dumbest gangsters I ever seen. But yeah, Death Wish 1, 2, and 3 were good movies. That guy couldn't get a break, though. In the first movie, his wife dies, his daughter gets the PTSD. And then the second movie, you get more thugs showing up. Boy, this guy's a thug magnet. And then they rape his daughter, and she kills herself. And then in movie 3, his new girlfriend gets killed by the gang members. Wow. Boy, this guy, he's got the worst karma on the planet. What was he, Genghis Khan in a past life? Jesus Christ. Anyway, before I get into this story, I'd like to ask those of you out there that like and appreciate the raw, rippled nature of my content to go check out my website, therealistphilosopher.com. That is therealistphilosopher.com. And consider making a donation. I could really use your help. There's 3 ways you can donate, all at the bottom of the page. Number 1 is my Bitcoin wallet address. Number 2 is my Cash App. And number 3 is my Patreon, which is a per-piece subscription-style platform. So I make about 8 pieces a month. So you donate $1, it's $8 a month, 50 cents, $4 a month. Any amount is greatly appreciated. So go check that out, therealistphilosopher.com. There's therealistphilosopher.com. And don't forget to follow me on BitChute, where all my content eventually ends up. bitchute.com/therealistphilosopher. That's bitchute.com/therealistphilosopher. Go check it out. Okay, so America's largest cities have suffered a 30% increase in homicides just in 2020 alone. So homicides spiked 30% in 34, not a small sample size, by the way, of the United States' largest cities in 2020, according to a report conducted by the National Commission on COVID-19 in Criminal Justice. Commie, pinko, scumbag, socialist morons. Deconstructivist pinheads. That's what that title says to me. National Commission on COVID and Criminal Justice. What the hell does one have to do with the other? By the way, they don't. But they try to conflate the two so they can socially deconstruct things, because everything's a construction, right? Of the cities studied in the report, Chula Vista, California, saw the greatest increase in homicides, with 150% more in 2020 than the previous year. Madison and Milwaukee, the 2 largest cities in Wisconsin, saw increases of 100% and 85%. Wow, that's insane. Respectively. I don't respect those numbers, not at all. Well, only 4 cities, Raleigh, North Carolina, Baltimore, St. Petersburg, Florida, and Virginia Beach, saw declines. The report's authors attributed the nationwide spike to the coronavirus pandemic. Why? What would that have to do with it? I got corona. I got the coof. Let me go kill somebody. What's the correlation? I don't get it. And the widespread protest over racial justice and police violence. Racial injustice. Where? What racial injustice? I'm poor and I happen to be black. There ain't no poor white people out there. So it must be racism, because that's the only reason I could be poor. I'm going to kill somebody. Yeah, okay. Police violence. Oh, yeah, because the 9 black men killed in 2019 who were supposedly unarmed. Yeah, that's enough of a reason to protest and riot, right? And kill 57 whiteys. Oh, okay. Thomas Abbott. ABT. Where are the vowels? Oh, the first letter's a vowel, but you got to have some more vowels in there. That's a name. ABT. Thomas Apt, who directed the commission that authored the report, said that the pandemic prevented the implementation of anti-crime tactics by police. Well, that's not why. I'll tell you why. Because you idiots defunded the cops in a lot of these cities, and you didn't prosecute protesters, mostly peaceful. Yeah, they only burned down 57, 58 buildings today. That's 2 less than yesterday. They're mostly peaceful. Oh, yeah, because these people get arrested, and then you would let them go. So they felt like they could do whatever they wanted, and they went out and killed people. Oh, no, that's not it. Oh, the pandemic prevented the implementation of anti-crime tactics. Well, it could be that, for example, New York decommissioned the plainclothes crime unit, which was made up of dozens, if not hundreds, of officers who, walked around plainclothes. So you didn't know they were cops, that they were more likely to see crimes. Which would mean that criminals wouldn't know who's a cop and who ain't, so they're less likely to commit a crime. Oh, no. It's not things like that that cause more crime. It's not the defunding of cops that created more crime. Oh, no. Yeah, so the pandemic prevented the implementation of anti-crime tactics. Why? Why would the pandemic prevent implementation of anti-crime tactics? I mean, cops are still on the job, right? Makes no sense. And social workers. Oh, yeah. Oh, wait. You're saying that social workers taking the place of cops would have prevented more crime? Wasn't there a social worker just killed the other day? Oh, my God, by some mentally ill person? Because she showed up instead of a cop. Yeah. And withdrew resources that were previously focused on preventing crime in urban centers and hotspots. You mean you defunded the police? So they're admitting that less police results in more crime. So the implementation of the idea to defund cops was idiotic. Well, no shit. The sharpest spikes in violence were recorded in June, just days after George Floyd was killed in Minneapolis. The report also said that the increases in homicides in the cities studied likely means that the national homicide rate will jump at a record rate as well, exceeding the 10.2% increase from 2015 to 2016 after the police killings in Ferguson, Missouri, and surpassing the largest single-year increase of 12.7% in 1968. By the way, the general trend for the past 30 years has been overall crime, including homicide rate, going down. Now it's starting to go up. Yeah. Bucking the trend. Well, that's what you leftists love to do, right? Oh, it's tradition that the homicide rate's going down. Let's buck tradition and make it go up. Yeah. While the report found the sharp uptick in homicides, it noted that the homicide rate remains far lower than it was 25 years ago. So the fuck what? It's far higher than it was a year ago. By 30%, you idiots. I'm sure if you look back in time long enough, we found a year where it was lower. So it's not a big deal that it went up 30% in 1 year. What kind of reasoning is that? That's not really good reasoning at all. Additionally, though the report found that aggravated assaults and gun assaults jumped 6 and 8% respectively. Well, now wait a second. Gun assaults jumped 6% and 8% respectively. Aggravated assaults jumped 6%, gun assaults 8%. But I thought that guns were to blame for everything. I thought that every death that occurred was a gun death. Guns are evil. So gun crimes went up 8%. Homicides went up 30% overall. Well, that means that 22% on average of the deaths weren't caused by a gun. Well, shouldn't you be focusing on that other 22%? And what caused those? And not the minority of what caused the other 8% of deaths? No. Because we hate guns. At least a few people on the right have them, because then that acts as a control. It acts as a stopgap. You having guns, it allows you to fight back against us. We don't want that. So we're going to focus on the 8%, not the 22%. Yeah. It also found that robbery rates declined by 9%. Yeah, I don't believe that. Residential burglaries decreased by 24% and drug offenses decreased by 30%. All lies, I'm sure. I'm sure this is all cherry-picked. And I bet you that 30% number doesn't even come close. The report found, but motor vehicle theft rose by 13%. So there you go. There you go. Homicide is up overall in America's largest cities by 30%. By the way, this is what the left wanted. The whole goal of this bullshit pandemic was to get Trump out of office and to make sure he didn't get reelected. The 13,000 that we know of deaths so far that occurred in New York City because dummy Cuomo decided to put COVID patients in nursing homes was because they didn't want Trump to get another term. The dozens of people killed during these riots, the billions of dollars in damage, was all so Trump didn't get another term. The ceaseless racism against white people, the constant oppression that we are actually now facing, all to make sure Trump didn't get another term. Everything that's happened in America in this past year, the lockdowns, the deprivation, all to stop Trump from getting reelected. You see, because the left has been peddling the narrative for 4 years that the president decides everything. Oh, well, you know, everything's going wrong in America. It's because of the person who's in the White House. So, they spoon-fed their useful idiot morons and normies this bullshit for 4 years, and then, well, for 3 years, and then, come year 4, you got the pandemic, they turn everything to shit, and they constantly spread the narrative that it's Trump that's to blame. They're blaming him for the lockdowns. They're blaming him for individual states' coronavirus responses that he has no control over. They're blaming him for the riots. Oh, they call him a fascist dictator because he wanted to send in federal troops to stop rioting. And the state said no. And then you got billions of dollars in property damage. It's Trump's fault. He didn't handle the coronavirus pandemic correctly. Meanwhile, Biden hasn't changed anything in the way the coronavirus is being handled. Oh, it's got to remain the status quo. There's nothing that can be done beyond what we've already done, what's already been done. Which means that you agree with everything that Trump did to fight the coronavirus. But didn't you say that he didn't handle it properly? Now you're saying that he handled it properly when you say that there's nothing more that can be done. Everything that's occurred, all the jobs lost, all the lives lost, it's the left's fault. It was all done to stop him from getting reelected. All of it. The coronavirus was created in a lab. It was distributed purposefully. And the response was tailored on a state and local level in a way to create as much animus toward Trump as possible. As many negative outcomes as possible that would then be blamed and were blamed on the commander-in-chief. That's all there is to it. And you don't need to be a tinfoil hat-wearing conspiracy theorist to figure that out. So there you go. The 5,000 to 10,000 people who died for every 1% of unemployment that came out of the lockdowns. The thousands of suicides, drug overdoses caused by the lockdowns, the millions of jobs lost. The 25% of American small businesses that disappeared forever, never to return. All because, oh, there's man bad. We got to get him out of there, no matter what. And now the fucking country is going to hell in a handbasket with homicide going up 30%. Lovely. Anyway, let me know what you think of this story in the comment section. And please like and subscribe to my BitChute channel if you have not already. And again, if you really like what I do, if you really like the raw, red pill, in-your-face nature of my content, please consider going and checking out my website, therealistphilosopher.com. That is therealistphilosopher.com, and consider making a donation. Could really use your help.